Hello, this is IP Stories by 4IP Council, the podcast about innovation and intellectual property. Join us and you will hear about the journeys through invention, creation, and IP understanding of our guests. Hello, everyone. I'm Axel.
And I'm Marta.
Today's guest is Alexander Tsoukalis, founder and CEO of Micrel Medical Devices, a MedTech pioneer developing smart infusion pumps and drug delivery systems that help patients receive treatment more safely and more comfortably, often from their own homes.
Over the years, he has grown Micrel into an internationally active innovator, combining engineering, patient focused design, and a robust patent strategy to compete with some of the biggest names in medical technology. Alexandre, welcome to IPS Stories.
Thank you.
I would like to start this chat with the motivation or the problem that you were trying to solve when you met your partner and began improving, which I believe was sort of like your first innovation. So, what made you believe this was worth the risk?
When we started, it was a time when all the market in thalassemia in Greece was taken by a British company that has changed their electronics inside recently at that time in 1980. And those electronics were having failures, very frequent failures. The co-founder of Micrel was talking to me that that is an opportunity because I had also a vision to make something and we didn't know what. And he said, okay, this is an opportunity that we go and come with a better product that is smaller and more high quality than the products that are failing today. That's how we started. We made a prototype by hand. And then we went to a molder that was a friend of my uncle and we made the prototype on a milling machine. After that, the whole system was working perfectly. We started entering into the Greek market with a product that was not failing. And actually, we had patients that came after 15 years saying, okay, the pump is still working, it's not failing.
That's very impressive. Also, that it worked straight away. That's incredible.
So everything started from a real life situation. And early on, you actually infringed patent. But what happened? And how did that experience change your view of intellectual property rights?
Yeah, it was a very, very bad experience because at that time we had 20% of the British market. So it was a big, big problem to us. We made the product, we knew about their patent, and we bypassed it by changes on the circuit. We didn't do it the same as they did, and we knew the claims, and we say, okay, we don't infringe the claims. But when we had the infringement, we said, okay, let's say what we did. But there were no attorney in England that could support us because the patent was belonging to the British Research Council, which was making thousands of patents to all attorneys. All attorneys were living with this research center in the UK, so that we couldn't find anybody in England to defend us. We should have somebody from France or from Germany or from another country to go, and the cost would be very, very high. And so we dropped the market.
Wow, that's huge for a small company like yours, with 20% of the market. But so you've said that you always looked for niches where Micrel could add real value. How did you identify those opportunities in such a competitive industry?
You know, you have to dig deeply into their needs and also to your evolving technologies. So for us, we wanted to automate the infusion set of the rhythmic pump. The rhythmic pump is a pump that has a container to where you put the drug, and it has also the drug, and then you have the tubing that goes and up to the patient. So all that we wanted to automate, and the automation is almost ready this year. We do it with robots. That's very innovative. And to do that, we needed to automate the pressure sensor. It's a plastic that was covered, that is welded by ultrasound. And this was very hard to find. And so we needed the redundancy to say, okay, as the market isn't growing, we need to have a second source. And instead of going somewhere else, we say, okay, let's make an automation here. So for that, we said, okay, we will do all the infusion set with silicone injection molding. This is a new technique. And with silicone injection molding, we can make this pressure sensor on the mold because the mold can inflate and then all this, which is bigger, it can demold that easily. We made so many modifications that made so big difference on the market. Now we have a product that has no problems at night. And after that, we said, okay, the same thing. This patent is just granted a few days ago. So this patent is just granted in Europe. The product is already on the market, and it allows us to make the automation. We have one air line detector on the system that is inside the pumping segment. You have the filter, and after the filter, you have a second air line detector. This way, we have zero false alarms. You have to think what are the real problems, and then you solve the problems, and then you patent, of course. But first, you have to see where are the problems. People are waking up. Why they're waking up? Because of this and this and this. You have to find all ingredients of the problem, and then you have to solve.
I think that's amazing because it's obviously that's key to make sure that you have that competitive advantage to think about the real problems of the product and then go ahead and see what's the best way to fix them. For example, the pumps have evolved from standalone devices into connected therapy systems. So during that journey, what key moments determined the path you wanted Micrel to take?
Oh, that's a big story. I went into a 10 Telecom conference here in Athens, and I heard for the first time that all the theory about how the digital communication will be above sitting on the GSM network. At that time, I didn't have any idea that GSM will have in the future data on it. At the same time, at that time, Alaris were selling our rhythmic pumps, and people there were saying, "Oh, Alex, you have good ideas. Tell me what you think about vital size monitoring because in the US they are trying to put vital size monitoring into the pumps." So I combined the two. I said, "Okay, data is coming from the GSM, and vital size monitoring is a real need." I thought that this was the future for the product, and that's why I made the patent, which has more than 6,000 citations today. The patent was done just 2 years later, in year 2000, and in 2003 we had the first data over GSM. And I have managed to make a consortium funded by the European Union with people from Spain, from England, from several countries, all from Italy too. And we were doing some vital signs, a pulse oximeter on the ear or an arrhythmia monitor in the heart and things like that. And all that we were communicating to a server that was in Spain. And I was trying to make all these connections and I made the connection from my sensors with a server in Spain in August from a module that I found from a French manufacturer. So this is history, but I presented that in the same year in October. In November, it was Medica. And in Medica 2003, I was presenting that, and everybody was astonished. Well, where Micrel is going? They didn't believe all the big companies, Alaris, everybody was coming to say at that time we were already disconnected from Alaris. So Alaris was gone. We started our own, let's say, sales network. And we're showing, I had a big poster in Medica showing vital size monitoring. And at that time, I was showing cloud in 2003. I saw that everything is going through the cloud. I didn't know that cloud will come later on. So that was the story. And after that, in 2006, we made the first product that we didn't have a vital size monitoring because inside the company, we understood that it is better that we have a feedback of the therapy instead of doing something because we say, okay, all this vital size monitoring will be done by Chinese at very low price. We have no chance. So we say we leave all that and we concentrate on how to make the feedback of the therapy as good as possible. Actually, we didn't have them in the devices because that time we couldn't do it. We had an external which had an extra battery and the mobile phone inside. But it was a pump with a mobile phone. At that time, the doctors were saying, "Okay, what to say? I have a mobile phone and a pump." They were completely crazy. They couldn't believe it. Now it's normal. Everybody says it's normal, but at that time it was completely strange.
Yeah, I can imagine that at the beginning, when you were including all this technology into the devices, it must have been like so incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna now move on into the patent world. How did building this strong patent portfolio influence your ability to continue investing in R&D and innovation?
When you have a patent and then you have a little bit also an economic situation that is improving and then you don't anymore a startup and then you are growing, then you can spend more money to make an ecosystem. That's what we did. We said, okay, we have one product here and then we need this technology and then that technology and then that technology and you make a whole system around so that you prevent others coming into your system. And then you say, okay, I don't know if I go this way or the other way, but if I patent all that all around, nobody will come in. And that's how we work. And now we have patents that we are not going to use them, but they are preventing others to coming into close to our systems.
All this innovation that you put in place over the years, I remember a few years ago when actually the European Patent Office with the OECD created an SME case study showcasing Micrel medical devices. And I was amazed because they were really explaining the story, how you relied on patented innovation again and again. And clearly, they recognized your leadership and innovation. Congratulations. But when working with investors, consortia, large pharma companies, what role did your patents play?
The first VC that came into us came because of we had a patent. So they say, okay, this is a company that can go in Europe and they can have, let's say, high exposure. We needed a VC when we separated with Alaris. We didn't have any exposure, and then we are in big trouble. So we needed money, and we attracted the VC. No more because we had the product, but we also have a product that is protected. After the years, we made a case which is unique in Europe. We have a patent which is granted all over Europe, where we have the new pump that we have now on the market, but this is the patent is years ago. We have a container. Below the container, we have an RFID reader. Also in the pump, we have also GSM inside, and the new pumps have GSM SIM card in the pump because now the modules are very, very small, so we can put it into the pump. And they have also Wi-Fi. So with all that ecosystem, we say, okay, what don't we make our own pharmaceutical product that has an RFID on it so that the pump can see the RFID? And this is a product that is now to get approval. And I believe this year we have the approval. And so maybe lately this year or the next year, we will have it on the market. And this will be a morphine bag with an RFID. And when you put it into, the pump knows exactly what is the concentration, what is the everything about the drug. So the pump, you don't need to program it. All the drug is immediately popping up on the pump. And that's a major advancement because there are a lot of injuries that are coming on the market because nurses that are mixing drugs and making wrong concentrations on the pump, and this is often, it happens. For that, there are legislations in several European countries saying, okay, there need to be two nurses coming at home to program the pump because they don't trust one nurse to program the pump because of all these problems, But when you have a pump that there's no problem to have, one nurse is sufficient, And even without it, we have also Micrel Care now in contact. And with Micrel Care also now we do it before doing that. We have the Micrel here that is showing what is the program that is on the pump, and then a second nurse can be on the let's say in another location and not traveling up to the patient. So we have a lot of let's say tools to make life safer to the patients.
But you just said that at one point you had some financial difficulties. And I believe that's part of the entrepreneurial adventure. Challenges happen. And it leads me to the question where what has been one of the most challenging moments for Micrel as a business? And how did you overcome it?
Well, that's a very big problem that I was frightened and Micrel was almost dead because we had the second VC after the first one. By contract, needed to get out after 6 years. And they needed a specific amount of money because it was not a normal VC. It was a VC paid by percentages of the sales and things like that. So at the time, 1 year before, there was a big chance for us because one pump that was used in UK for parenteral nutrition, which was recalled by FDA, and then it was a hole on the market, and the user associations in UK asked us if we can make a pump to for parental nutrition because the market was completely got from this Baxter pump. We didn't have any market. We said, oh, we don't produce any pump. But when the market opens, then we needed to transform our pump to a parental nutrition pump. It was not easy because it needed ramps, it needed things like that. When you have parental nutrition, you cannot get food because directly into the blood, and because your insulin, your glucose will grow up, so you have to go slowly, so that the body can regulate the glucose levels. So we needed to do all these different things, change new filters, new things, so everything has to be changed. Even the rate of the pump had to be grown, so we changed the motor, we changed a lot of things inside the pump. In 2006, we showed the pump to the user associations in UK, and they say, okay, we will buy a big number of pumps from you because we like the pump. We worked with them for the rucksack. We made the rucksack exactly the way that they wanted. So they were very enthusiastic about our pump, and we got the market. In December of 2007, we got that market, and we gave it to the VC, and we saved the company because they had the right to sell it for a penny. So we were almost losing the company, and we got it because we transformed the pump, and because of that chance that came, that the competitor was out of the market, and we got the market.
Oh my God, what a roller coaster. And then you were back in the UK market. Um, it was an amazing opportunity that you took. So yeah, like it's great. I would like to go back to something that you mentioned before about the RFID. And I think you also were working on these barcode solutions to basically improve in general drug safety. So I think this is something very interesting. And I would like to know like if there was any specific problem that you were trying to solve when you decided to start including all these different solutions to improve the safety.
Yeah, we have worked a lot. So I told you that one of the safety issues was the RFID inclusion into the new rhythmic pump. But we have also a project for a bedside pump, and that bedside pump is the one that was in the case studies of European Patent Office, which is a very small one that has a barcode reader on the top. And so we tried to make an ecosystem around this. And I was frightened because Baxter had more than 200 patents around the barcode reading. So how you can make a barcode when they have patent everything. So the trick was automatic reading. I said, okay, because I have a small pump and I can be close to the drug, I can read the drug automatically. And so we have a big number of patents around that. So we say, okay, I can put the pump this way, I can put the pump that way, and I automatically read the barcode. I know what I'm reading. For the bedside, it's a new revolution because nobody has it today. This was a very good story. The company is spending more than 200,000 euro per year on patents, on attorneys and fees and things like that. So it's not small. all that is not easy to play. So for startups, I cannot say, okay, you do it because it will cost. But uh, if you can do it, then you can do it, and then you have all these opportunities to make full potential of all that. I need to have also a pharma company behind to have all the bags and all the things, and then I can structure all that. But I say, okay, who knows? Because now we have a small bag. Maybe tomorrow I have a big bag. I don't know. But the patents are there. I don't know if we are going to use them or not.
Mhm. We will make sure to include the link to the EPO case study because I think that's very interesting as well. I mean, we have gone through all the history behind Micrel's innovations and this revolution in the pump industry. So I would like to know now, what do you see as the next big step for the company?
That's a good question because I only now I have the answer. In the past, for our bedside pumps, we have done a market survey with a German company, and we have asked doctors and nurses in the US because most of this market is in the US. So we need to know what is exactly is happening there. And they told us, okay, that's incredible and things like that because the pump is small, as European Patent Office showed in the case study. But we didn't have any real clue on what else we need. By my surprise, talking to Gemini for 2 weeks, so it's not easy to get all this information. So I had to ask him one question after the other to say, okay, what are the holy grails in the American market? And of course, the first holy grail is, mobility. Okay, mobility, I have it. I can put it in a pocket. So it's mobility. Okay, I can go from the operating room to the ICU, to the wards, and then to the home because one pump can go all the way down. But what others? And then it started saying things that I couldn't imagine because I'm asking problems. Give me the problems. If you do this, what is happening? If you do that, what is happening? What errors are doing this? What errors are doing the other thing? And I got a huge list. I have 60 pages of discussions. And because I was reading that, because I had to communicate that to my son. So because we worked together for the patents to see what we were going to do. So I had he was in Scotland at that time. And so I was discussing. When he came back, I gave it to him. I say, I think that we can solve it this way. And then he changed some things. And now we have a patent. It is on the hands of our patent attorneys. From myself, it's finished. But they work it and it will come back to us. I hope within the year it will be published. I believe that it will be no competitor in the bedside pump market. For the moment, we don't have any competitor in the actual pump. Almost everybody tells us it's almost 10 years ahead, everybody. But also, this will happen also on the bedside pump. The regulatory problem in the medical devices when you can kill a patient is not so easy because there are other medical devices that are class one or it's easy. For us, we can kill a patient, and then so it's very strict. So you have to demonstrate everything from one step to the next. Is a huge work to be done. So you need years to go from one to get a product on the market.
Yeah, but it's amazing, like the mindset. I think it's exactly that, and I think it's very interesting the use of Gemini to do like the market research and to try to gather all that information on what other problems you could solve.
Yes, it's amazing because it was giving me the prices, the competition. Who is the competition? I didn't know companies that it was giving me. I didn't know about them. I understood that there were other companies that are in not in the pump business doing things of the pump business. And I said, why they are using the pump business? I will do what they do. You understand? So and better because I'm inside the business. So it's strange because when you think correctly with somebody that has all the knowledge from the price, from the market, from everybody, so every question is coming back with an answer. It's very, very, very powerful. I suggest that to all the listeners that it's very, very powerful, very powerful.
I have to say that your journey is very inspiring because You tackled real life issues and you found solutions. You made the life of the patients easier. Um, so I really like it. But as the last question, what advice would you give to the innovators developing connected or IoT-based health technologies today?
Uh, I guess that, let's say, the commodity devices will be covered by companies like Samsung or other Chinese or Korean big companies. But there are other, let's say, smaller markets that are not covered, will not be covered because they're not billions involved, and so people are not putting 10,000 people to think what innovation to make. If you think how the innovation is coming, you can think that today's knowledge is, let's say, a sphere, and an innovation is a small bubble there. From this innovation, some other innovation is coming using this and something else, and it's coming another bubble, and then slowly it's coming another layer above the. So we are evolving. The whole technology is evolving. So you have to find the bubble. You have to go into the next step that nobody has thought. For instance, you never know if the light is off, and how the municipality knows that the light is off. You can do it by IoT. You can have a saying, okay, this is the light sensor or a temperature sensor. If it is a light sensor, you need to clean it. So it's not very reliable. But if you have a temperature sensor, it's forever. And the communication can come through the wiring of 200 volts. So these are the things that, of course, this does not exist. I tell you something, but to tell you that that comes immediately, maybe it's useless because nobody will do it. But if you can persuade, let's say, a municipality to do it, and then everybody in the world will do it. That's how it happens. But you have to think things that do not exist.
Following your example is, and once you have solved that, then you move on to the next, and then the next, and then the next, because you haven't stopped after fixing the first issue. So I think that's also a key.
Yeah, you're totally right. Identifying real life issue, finding a solution.
Thank you. This is our objective. The mission statement of the company is to make life easier to everybody.
Thank you very much, Alexander, because I believe what you are doing is actually serving, not only the patient, but that's serving innovation, that's serving, that giving a role model. And I believe that many innovators should read the EPO OECD case study, listen to the podcast, and they will get inspired.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you for listening to IP Stories by 4IP Council. Visit our website on 4ipcouncil.eu to find out more and check out the links mentioned during this episode. If you liked it, remember to share and subscribe.